Good morning, students. Today, at the fag end of the Unit 2, we will have the final concept of this unit, that is, the informal groups and the informal organization. We know that what is informal, which is not formal, is called as informal. So, in every organization, there exists both the formal groups and the informal groups. Side by side. We will never find any organization where there is only formal groups or only informal groups. As an overall observation, we can come to a conclusion that both are necessary for the conduct of the actions and activities in the organization, as well as we cannot deny the formation of informal groups along with the formal groups. And the informal groups are not created by the organization itself. The informal groups have been created on its own. Here another one specific characteristic what we find is, any employee of the organization or any worker of the organization do have a formal organizational place, along with that having a membership in the informal organization also, or in the informal group also. So every person who is in the formal group is also a member of some informal group within the same organization. Why this happens, sir? We know that basically human beings are the psychological beings. These people who are psychological aspects in their behavior, they do need some support of not being formal or to adhere to the formal in the shape of the informal groups. So now coming to the question, what is an informal organization? The organization which is not formally created is called an informal organization. On the other hand, we can take into consideration as informal organization, such organization where it is a combination of or the sum of informal groups. So now coming to the question, what is the relevance of the study of these informal groups and organization under this second unit, which comes under the group dynamics concept? The group dynamics are not only affected by the formal groups and formal organization, and even to say more, it is influenced by the informal groups and the informal organization. Why? Because there is a connectivity, there is a commonality of thinking, creativity, skills, or there may be some similarities between and among the people on a personal basis that make them come together irrespective of their departments to formulate into an informal group. I am using the word informal irrespective of the departments. So this is a very powerful way of intruding into the formal arena of operations of the organization by the informal arena. The scope of informal organization cannot be defined so easily. It is not only personal, it is also professional. So taking this into consideration, it is must to have both the formal groups and informal groups within the organization. And sometimes it adhesively supports the effective functioning of the formal organization also. The communication system in the formal groups, what we have observed in our business communication subject in BCom second year, is formal communication, which is going to flow as per the organizational structure. Maybe bottom to top or top to bottom, or vertically or horizontally, or diagonally. But in the case of the informal organization and the informal groups, the communication is mostly informal, means almost informal. Means grapevine communication is mostly used here as per the whims and fancies of the members of the informal groups within the informal organization in a formal organization. Henceforth, we cannot deny the impact of the informal groups and informal organization on the organization or the formal organization as a whole. Now let us go for what are the characteristics which can be found as a part of the informal groups. The features or characteristics of the informal groups. Characteristics of informal groups. The first characteristic is creation. Here, the organization do not restrict the people to think creatively. By taking that as an advantage, with their creative thinking, the people will use it as an opportunity to spring up the informal groups and the informal organization as a whole. It's a spontaneous effort. It springs up the formation of informal groups. The second characteristic is satisfaction of needs of the members. Naturally, as we have learned under motivation in the earlier classes, the human needs are continuous. They cannot be satisfied as a whole. Henceforth, the human needs are not supposed to make an end for the creation of among the people. So there may be dissatisfaction sometimes among the members of the organization. So in order to gratify their needs, desires, whims and fancies, which were not able to be gratified or satisfied through the formal organizations and formal groups, make them compelled to enter into the informal groups or the informal organization. So the people's thinking, the people's way of getting their needs and satisfaction, which is not possible through formal means, may lead for the creation of the informal groups. And the third characteristic is the informal groups will have voluntary membership. Voluntary membership of the group. Here there is no compellment. Here there is no question of request. People willfully, wholeheartedly, on their own, will judge better to which informal group they may belong to and they may join. Here one important thing what we have to keep in mind is, An employee who is a member of one informal group is also a member of another informal group. Apart from that, also a member of the formal group. Means the number of members in the informal groups and the number of informal groups is not being restrained by the organization or by the groups itself. So we can say multi-membership is also possible in multiple groups. Besides having a formal membership in a formal group, in a formal organization. This is one other important thing. So henceforth we come to another characteristics, that is multi-membership, as I just discussed now. Here the individuals will have multiple memberships in multiple informal groups as well as the formal informal groups. Apart from that, the next feature or the characteristic is that it is associated with the system and the forces which work within the system as per the process of the organization. So here the culture of the organization, the work culture of the organization, the group dynamics within the organization, the behavior of co-employees and co-members within the organization do have their emphasis on the part of defining the system with which the organization is being existed and how the forces are being applied in order to process or prosecute the overall system as a whole. I will now go for somewhat beyond way of explaining the same thing. We have a subject, namely organizational behavior. Very, very famous subject. You might have well remembered that when we were studying business management in your second semester, there was the various philosophies or schools of management. At that philosophies of social philosophy of management is also there. So under that we have studied about the Hawthorne experiments. So in the case of the Hawthorne experiments, it has been, even though it is declared to be a failure, but after some time it is found that the Hawthorne experiments have generated or paved the way for the creation of a very dynamic subject which is called as human behavior at work. And that human behavior at work is also called as human organizational behavior. So then what is an organization? If you have a triangular observation, in every organization, three elements are must. Triangle PST. P for people, S for structure, and T for technology. Just like as I have already communicated to you in BCom, second semester BCM. In BCM, we have observed what is the personality or what are the elements of personality, right? In the case of the elements of personality, we have triangle PAL, P-A-L, P for perception, A for attitude, and L for learning. It's a continuous vicious circle. The interactional force between and among these four items is called as behavior. Here it is called as human behavior or personal behavior. The same is applied in the case of organization also. Here what are the things? P for people, S for structure, T for technology. The interactional force between and among these three elements of organization is called as organizational behavior, which is also called as the personality of an organization. Here in the case of the human behavior, it is called as personality of a human behavior or personality of a person. In the case of organization, it is organizational behavior, which is nothing but the personality of the organization. Now, what is the link here? The link between this point and this explanation is, when once you understand what is the system and what are the forces which emerge out of the processing of the organizational actions and activities from time to time, which will have, what is, I have applied here a word force. What is this force? The logical explanation of the word force stems from this concept. What is that? The structure of an organization. People, structure and technology. The emergent force itself is a responsible factor towards the creation of the informal groups. See, there is a lot of in-depth way of understanding required here. How an organization itself is going to define the emergence or creation of the informal groups within the organization. So it's not so easy to understand why an informal group is created, why a person is joined in an informal group, what factors and efficacies made the person to come to a conclusion and to join hands in an informal manner and plunge into an informal group. Apart from that, the same person, the similar personality chooses to join in different informal groups at the same time. A person A is a informal member in X group, Y group, Z group and so many other groups. And this is the main reason here is the system and the forces arising out of the process of the organization, that is the behavior of the organization, is going to deliberately make the person to enter into an informal organization. The sixth point, as the characteristic, we take into account the leadership. This is of having a double-edged game here. In every organization, we have already known that there are two types of organizations. Formal organization is also there, informal organization is also there. So in the case of formal organization, there is a formal leader to lead the formal groups. Every formal group will have a formal leader. Sometimes there may be a mismatch between the ideologies or the connectivity between the leader and the person who is led by the leader within the group. That may create a dynamism among these two persons. And that makes the employee, even though to continue in the formulation as a formal mean, as a formal employee of that formal group, in order to gratify the dissatisfactions what that fellow has derived through joining the formal group or to exist in the formal group, will take a decision, enter into the informal group and to join hands in the informal organization. So the leadership qualities, the leadership behavior, the leadership effects may also provoke a person most of the times to enter into the informal organization. So there are so many things here to understand what actually the informal organization characteristics are. So if you can observe all these 6 elements, there is a connectivity between all and among all these things. Informal groups are created by themselves spontaneously. For what? Satisfaction of their personal wishes and whims and fancies of needs and desires. And nobody is compelled that fellow to enter into that group. It is voluntary. And the same fellow, in order to gratify the needs which is even not possible in joining a particular informal group, will also join another one. There is a saying in management, what formal cannot do, the same is done as a miracle by the informal. People mostly, as per the psychology, don't want to be highly controlled. They want to be somewhat indisciplined, to get some relaxation or to come out of the stress of the organization as their work culture. Henceforth, what they do? They will enter into informal organizations and informal groups via informal groups. So the gratification of or the getting the satisfaction of the relief from the stress and strain. Being a formal member of a formal organization, they will choose the way of entering into the informal groups and informal organization. So this is a very complex issue and having a lot of emphasis and based upon the human psychology. Even though the employee is also a human being, the human psychology is going to be get affected by what? The formal rules, regulations, norms, discipline. What we have studied under the Henry Fayol 14 principles. Sometimes they feel the 14th principle also take into their command, esprit de corps. And this is also one of the configured or focal point on the part of the person to enter into the informal groups by way of having unity among the informal association. To get the formal benefits, the informal organization, informal groups are supposed to be created within the organization. Right? If you have any characteristics, any features, you have to add here from your material or books, whatever reference books you have studied. Apart from that, these are must and should to be considered as the characteristics of the informal groups. Thank you very much.